really like, you feel some type of way when a kindergartner or a 12th grader like just straight up disrespects you or ignores you. Like it really it hits you in your soul. Like people when we talk about teachers and educators, people don't know, man, having little kids up to your like knee high or like a big kid like just flat out disrespecting you. It's like it definitely, but then
Or your favorite kid.
yeah, or your favorite kid. Yeah, like you said, the one day like your everything's good, and the next day it's just like, what happened?
In the D, it's so cold. We waiting for flowers to grow. I promise y'all, I ain't seen no flowers in like 3 years, man. Hey, in the D, it's so cold. We waiting for flowers to grow. Yeah. All right, welcome to Countdown Podcast. I got my brother with me today, Coach Kasabo. Coach Kasabo, he is a educator, he is a behavior specialist, but he's also a counselor where he's helping kids regulate their emotions, but not also kids, he's also helping teachers regulate their emotions. Because we know in education, it's like what's the dance? It's like tango, right? It takes two to tango. And I think there's been such a huge resistance, right? Because teachers have to give up that power. We have to think about their emotions. It's no longer, it's what I say goes. It's really how we work in this business, right? And I got my Coach K with me today. You mind if I call you Coach K?
That's cool. Nah, that's good. I'm good with that.
How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm just so happy. You like Instagram famous. You got your reels. Your reels are real. Okay. And I like them because they're very, very poignant. Like they get straight to the point. It's kind of like a tool. Like you ever watch those infomercials and that you get these really cool tools and like I like that. I could use that for that specific thing. And your reels are very like specific oriented. Kind of quickly talk about like, what's the science behind it? Like you having fun, I can tell.
Yeah, no, yeah, I am, and thanks again for having me on. I'm excited to do this with you. I feel very blessed to have such a unique experience working with kids of all ages, kids from kindergarten to 12th grade, and actually beyond. And I have my master's in school counseling, but almost the overwhelming majority of my content comes from firsthand experience and trial and error. So just kind of figuring things out and realizing that. If I'm going to survive out here, like I gotta come up with a way. So just through those tough experiences, and then now I feel blessed again that God's helped. He's amplified my social media, and I can send that out to the world. So it's a cool thing. Yep.
Awesome. Coach K on the Calvin on the podcast. Again, he is a counselor. He's counseling. He's giving advice. And were you an educator before, or have you always been a counselor? And how long have you been in counseling?
Yeah, so I've been a school counselor since 2016.
Okay.
Before that, I do have internship experience before that, but school counselor since 2016. I worked for a school district for 6 years, and then recently I transitioned to as a non-public school counselor. I get to go to 4 different schools. So I get to see the cool thing about my current position is I work with kids in poverty and kids who are their parents are millionaires. So I see the whole range of class culture, So again, it gives me a unique perspective into some of these conversations that we're having. Yep.
Awesome. I got my brother with me, Coach K with me. I really love your vibe. So let's go ahead and get into it, man.
Yep.
COVID hit and kids were literally locked in, their own sanctuaries, their own environments for 2 years, right? The education was piss poor and a lot of things happened. Can you quickly kind of talk about what happened and where are we now with kids and their mental health?
Yeah. So I have a I would say a somewhat controversial take on this, and I saw some of these behaviors rising before COVID, and I think COVID kind of just was like the nail in the coffin. With regard to some like generalized anxiety, some having the restlessness in the classroom, having a tough time, being not necessarily. The frustration tolerance just seemed to just over time seemed to just be decreasing, and then COVID hits, and it's just like that was it, for some kids. But with that being said, I also have plenty of experience with lots of kids who it was almost like it never happened, which is it's interesting because I don't think you hear that side as much. Like we hear like the fallout side, which is like these kids are ruined forever. Then I also see some of these kids and it's like another day. So, well, what was your perspective on it? What was your take?
No, absolutely. I think the people that were ready for it took advantage, and the people that weren't prepared for it got disadvantaged.
Yeah.
And I think it's on all degrees. But thank you so much for that perspective, man. So, your behavior specialist, define behavior and why is it so important for teaching?
Yeah. Behavior is communication. So everything we do is on purpose. Everything we do, it's for a specific function. And when when we have you don't have to have a degree, but like when you have a basic understanding, when teachers and educators and parents, like let's bring this extend this conversation to parents, because it's got to be across the board. We gotta get rid of this narrative where we just dump it onto the school. But when we have a basic understanding about behavior and what kids need and how it's on purpose, then we can start to craft our plan to meet those specific needs in ways that make sense on where the child is at. So, the ultimate idea is how do we give them what they need without going too far, either like with the enabling or without the going too far the opposite direction, which is like just putting the wall up, keep your mouth closed, do as I say. So, we've definitely changed the course of where things are going with behavior. We went from my opinion, the whole like dismissive. I know we've gone too far in the opposite direction, which is it's almost too much opportunity. Kids learn that sometimes they learn it's not their problem. Mom, dad, teacher, someone will kind of swoop in and take care of that.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, behavior is communication, and we need to make sure we are picking up on what the kids are trying to tell us, give them what they need while also holding them accountable.
What's a bad scenario when a teacher doesn't elevate behavior versus a good scenario where a teacher is very, very cognizant of their kids' behaviors and uses it to their advantage?
Yeah. So just so I understand, you're saying like a situation where a teacher would effectively handle it versus ineffectively?
Yep.
So paying attention to if a child's behavior is starting to ramp up, maybe it's starting to pick up, trying to temporarily allocate your energy to that child in order for the greater group. So the idea is always to address and then get back to the group. Somehow we're going to tie it back into the group, not just going to get locked in and let this child just completely derail my day. But, at the same time, I am going to provide some corrective feedback. I'm going to give some acknowledgement with the ultimate idea of let's restore this learning environment so everyone has an opportunity to learn.
Awesome. Yep. So let's go ahead and get into the teacher tip. How should teachers do that in a way where it's effective?
Yeah. So step number one, and we'll talk about some more technical approaches, but you got to take care of yourself first. You got to. So that's something that's.
I love that.
Yeah. So all my educated friends that out there, we already know that we hear for the kids, for the kids, for the kids. This is how I look at it. This is how I look at it. Administration's the coaches, teachers are the players, kids are the game, and administration is jumping right to the game. Where the teachers aren't coached up, they don't have what they need, they're not taking care of themselves, we're losing the game.
Yes.
So it needs to be very intentional where, we know like teachers know like they're important, they're valued, they do make a difference even when it doesn't feel that way. And it's okay sometimes, to be selfish and like the day's over, I'm going to transition my mind to my family. I'm going to transition my mind to the gym.
Let's go, coach.
And I'm going to be all right with it. And like, I'm going to pick back up tomorrow, but right now it's me time. I'm going to recharge this tank. But with regard to specific approaches, I think one thing that I saw routinely at the last school I worked at, which was extremely challenging, was just the idea of unrealistic expectations and teachers coming in and expecting something different the next day, knowing very well it was going to be the same thing. So they're dysregulated off the jump. They come into the classroom. They're expecting someone to come in and help them. They're expecting this child to do this. So they're already in a mindset where they're not trying to problem solve. They're not trying to self-regulate. They're just hoping for that rescue wish to come true. So I think I know, and this is the one people want to hear because it's not like
rescue wish.
Yeah, rescue wish. So this isn't something people don't want to hear this because it's not like, oh well, you can do this when this kid does that. But I'm telling you, when you adjust your expectations in time, you will naturally become more regulated because you're going to be more prepared.
Mm.
So that's my teacher tip. Going with the realistic expectation about your day. You know.
All right, man. So let's talk about like when Coach K he wasn't a coach. He was just what's your first name again?
Zach.
Zach. So when you was Zach, right?
Yeah.
Did you have like a really good teachers, right, that help you regulate your emotions? And what was some of those emotions that you dealt with, like that you struggle with? So for me,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Go ahead.
struggle with, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I just real quickly.
No, you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
for me, I struggle with anger because I was
Hmm.
bullied a lot, because I was otherized a lot,
Sorry to hear that.
because, I went to a predominantly black school. It was mainly homogeneous, but I was culturally different from a lot of my kids. I didn't grow up in the same neighborhood. So I spoke different. I talked different. And so because of that, right, I didn't have a lot of friends, right? I was kind of otherized. And
Hmm.
because of that, I wanted friends and I had a sense of wanting to fit in, wanting to be cool, having a
Yeah.
lost sense of identity. And yeah, and a lot of my teachers, you know, they just wanted to teach. They had to do their job because, fixing bullying in the class it's hard sometimes when you don't notice if you're not connected. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, man. Do you feel as like have you been able to resolve that part of your life? Like, is that
Absolutely.
all right? Cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Good. Yeah. So for me, I was extremely shy, extremely introverted, which some people who knew me back then are probably like, this dude's on social media now, because never in a million years
Mm.
would I imagine like that my face would be out there like that.
With
Um,
100,000 followers, y'all.
yeah, but the only like and like for real, the only way that like I am here is was from that last the 6 years I spent at the one school where like I had to public speak. I had to talk in front of
Mm.
kids. Like it was kind of forced and like it was tough, but it got me where I am. But to answer your question, there are definitely a few teachers that stood out, but like and I would get in trouble because I didn't know how to express myself and I was so shy. Um, but yeah, like I'll be honest, man, school's kind of tough for me in that regard. But it is what it is. Like I'm here, I'm ready, I'm ready to help people, and yeah.
What's the tip you'll give to kids who are more introverted to help them exercise the extroverted side?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. That's $1 million question.
Do
So
the
the
best
only
you
thing,
can.
yeah, the only thing I can say is that the monsters get bigger the longer you run away from them. That's it. Like the
Wow.
fears grow. You keep every day you say no, every day you avoid that risk. It's gonna be twice as big the next day. So finding someone in particular for like a really good friend or someone that you can count on to get your back when like you fall and like be vulnerable with them. Um, that's tough. It's tough. But really like the whole idea of like slowly desensitizing your time by doing like a little bit here and there to face your fears. You
And
know.
I love how your tips are very like simple, like and it's not like a book or like a methodical process to it. Obviously, there's a process to a lot of things, but it's like be brave, just
Yeah.
walk,
Yeah.
go
Walk.
outside.
Take a step.
And you said that actually, I think in one of your videos you was talking about how to help with kids who are very kinesthetic, get them moving, right?
Yeah.
Our kids that already talk. Can you maybe kind of elaborate on that a little bit for us?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So one of my primary responsibilities is classroom guidance. Well, I take that upon myself, and a lot of it being a school counselor is tier one, being preventative and making sure kids are aware of certain skills. And I can say with absolute certainty for a fact, we've gotten like so far, like we've romanticized this idea of like feelings and calming down, and we want little kids to like reframe their thoughts when they're overwhelmed. It's like, no, get them to move their body,
Yeah.
connect with them, let them talk to someone that they have a relationship with, or move on to the next thing so they distract themselves. Boom, that's it. Those are the only three things. That's it. And what's wild is that this is what a baby needs. This is what an infant needs. And
Yes.
all of a sudden we say like we grow up and like we don't need this. We need those basic things. We move, we connect with people, we mentally distract by moving on, we calm down.
And
You
we
know,
eat.
And we eat. We yeah.
Awesome. Great. Yes, man. Yes. Brother Coach K coming on the Calvin podcast, man. How you feeling? How you liking the conversation so far?
Dude, I like it, man. We gotta do this again sometime.
Hey,
Yeah.
awesome. So let's go ahead and fast forward, man. So you're in college, right? So did you want to be in education, or were you like a career changer, or this was your calling from the beginning? You was like, I gotta be the counselor of the year when I'm 10. I know I'm gonna be this person.
Yeah, no, I wish, man. So I come from a family of educators, so I think that was
me too.
That was like my default. But like through college, to be honest with you, man, I had no clue. I was one of them, like, throw me in psychology, I'll figure it out. No plan, dude. No plan. Wasted so much time, wasted so much effort, wasted so much like everything. Took me that extra time, made a bunch of poor choices along the way. When I got out, I worked at a placement, so with adjudicated youth. Okay. And when I worked there, I was like, yo, I got to do, like, this can't be it for me. So I went back and I got my master's in school counseling. I love that experience. At the time, I just straight up, I wasn't built for it. I just wasn't. I didn't have the skills.
Why?
Because we could talk about the details another time.
Okay.
I can just tell you, like, the way in which things were ran there. It was necessary, but I just wasn't built like that at the time.
Got it.
So like I came in with a different lens that just like, was there a need for it? Yeah, but not like necessarily in that anyway, so I decided to pursue, like, I got my master's and then did the school counseling thing.
And is this like something that you fell in love with? And maybe kind of talk about, like, what was that love like? And was it like love lost? So you're like, yo, like, I love this, but y'all tripping, you know? Or
yeah. No, I loved it, man. I loved it. And
awesome.
My first 2 years. I can tell. My first 2 years in particular. So actually, my role was a little different, and this is where, again, a lot of my content comes from. I had a walkie, and all day they would walkie me, and I would put fires out, fights, clash, teacher, you name it. That's what I would do, and then so it was just responding all day and having to be very decisive. So, and then, with that, naturally, I started, like, playing around with certain things, and I was like, okay, like, this worked here, that didn't work, like, that definitely didn't work, so let's try this, next time. And then, that's where, and then now people get to, which is cool, like, they don't have to go through all that, and they get these tools that I developed, or at least was able to articulate for them.
So how much does trial and error, and we're about to close, brother, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool.
How much does trial and error, right, play into doing your job very well? So I was talking to one of my coworkers today, and, the brother, man, was like, man, I almost lost it, man. I almost lost it. And I was like, I understand you, man. I get you, but you got to live to fight another day, man, because kids are fickle. Like, their emotions are fickle. You can have literally, you thinking 3 days of good instruction. They listening. You like, I got these kids. This is my kids.
Yeah.
And then Thursday, someone throw a laptop and kick somebody in the neck, and a fight happen. And you like, where are my kids?
Yep.
And then the next day, you're like, what happened from yesterday? Y'all was it's like you can't risk your job, or excuse me, you know what I'm saying? You can't put stock into it because it's so fickle, because you gotta live to fight a day. So how much does trial and error play into it, right? Just literally, like, I was sucky this day, I gotta try it again the next day.
Everything. So that is how you get ground. That's how you ground yourself in reality. As you say, that didn't work. I'm gonna try something else. Because, again, remember, if you're not grounded in reality, you have unrealistic expectations. If your expectations are unrealistic, you're dysregulated. If you're dysregulated, you can't manage a classroom. So, like, it's just like, sometimes you just gotta like try, like for real. I just, like, dude, I took an L that day. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. Like that didn't work. It is what it is. Now, like, obviously, I've done this so many times that, like, I'm good at failing now, but in the beginning it sucks, and, like, it's tough. Like, it really, like, you feel some type of way when a kindergartner or a 12th grader, like, just straight up disrespects you or ignores you. Like, it really hits you in your soul. Like, when we talk about teachers and educators, people don't know, man, having little kids up to your, like, knee high, or, like, a big kid, like, just flat out disrespecting you. It's like, it definitely, but then,
or your favorite kid.
Yeah, or your favorite kid. Yeah, like you said, the one day, like, your everything's good, and the next day it's just like, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Coach
Right.
K on Calvin on the podcast, brother, man. I'm trying to get you out of here in 3 minutes, man, because your
Yeah,
time
no
is
worries.
valuable, but time is money, man. So thank you so much, man. Let's talk about your business, right? Because
Yep.
obviously it's a recession. We all need extra streams of income. You know, OG told me you got to have different streams of income, right? But I feel like
Mhm.
also like you got to do things that you love and make money off
Yep.
of it, right? And so
Yeah.
I love like what you're doing with your company. Can you quickly name the company that you have, your consultation services?
Yeah, sure. It's Kasaba Behavior Management, and I specialize in helping parents confidently manage their child's behavior in 8 weeks or less.
Awesome.
Plugged it.
So,
Plugged
y-
it.
yeah, man. So, in the next quickly 30 seconds, like, what
Yeah.
is some tips for parents right out there who are struggling with, regulating their kids' behaviors?
Yep. So this is the most fundamental thing I can tell you is that your child is going to integrate behaviors based on how they relate to you. So whatever your
Mm.
boundary is going to determine what behaviors your child integrates and then reciprocates with, and like what behaviors they give back to the world. So when you correct your boundary,
Mm.
you'll correct your child's behavior. I know I'm making it sound like it's
Mm.
easy. When it clicks for people, it's just like night and day. But it is important to going back to trial and error, being honest, like what part did I play in this problem? We got a lot of people who refuse to acknowledge their part in their child's problem. It's like step one is there's an issue. What part did I play? How can I correct this boundary so that they keep hitting it time and time again, and they're going to have to adapt with the positive behavior.
Ooh. Ooh. Coach K, come on, Calvin on the podcast. Thank you so much, brother, man. Where can they find your business and what do you got coming up?
Yeah, sure. So just online at coachkasabo.com. You can find me on social media at Coach Kasabo. My next thing, so one thing that I've been really enjoying is doing these podcasts and lives with different people. So I'm hoping to do more of that. My next endeavor, my wife and I, we have a 9-month-year-old at home. So with that and
Nice.
my business and with school, when I like get a little like a breather is to sit down and have a short book. So nothing extensive like we've been talking about. Let's make it like 100 pages or less of just like some solid tips. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
man. That's the generation we're in, man. And thank you so
Yeah.
much for keeping it simple, keeping it funky. I really like how, it's again, it takes two, right? And
Yep.
the power, right? We have to give it up. But that power, when we talk about giving up power, it's okay.
It's
Because we
okay.
don't gotta be powerful every day.
Nope.
We don't gotta
Nope.
be. We gotta get a
Nope.
power to somebody else.
If you
You know?
if you expect the child to have self-control, you gotta model it first.